Hey guys, we're doing Module 6 review on two-step equations, on one and two-step equations, that is. Alright, so this is going to be based on our quiz for tomorrow. Hopefully I get a lot of views. Make sure you smash the like button, subscribe, and so I can make lots of money. Just kidding. I make no money here whatsoever. Okay, so here we go. Alright, so I'm going to do a few problems. I've got one problem here. I've got y over negative 3 equals 1/6. Okay, so we want to look at the variable, and we want to know what's happening to the variable. All right, right now, the variable is being divided by negative 3. So we want to do the opposite. So we want to apply the inverse operation so that we're able to get rid of that dividing by negative 3. So the opposite divided by negative 3 is multiplying by negative 3. So I'm going to rewrite this again. That way I'm not crowding the problem here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply both sides by negative 3. So I'm times this by negative 3, and I'll multiply the other side by negative 3. Because remember, the equation is whatever you do to one side, you have to do to the other side to maintain the equality, to maintain this equal sign. Because if you multiply this side by negative 3, then it's no longer equal. So, we're multiplying both sides by negative 3. This is going to cancel out. You're going to have y left over. You're going to isolate the variable. Then you're going to have 1/6 times negative 3. And then, if you remember, how do you multiply a fraction times a whole number? You take the whole number and you set it over top of 1. So negative 3 times 1 is negative 3. 6 times 1 is 6. So y equals negative 3 over 6, or negative 1/2. Okay? So that's it. That's going to be your answer. So if you do that in the calculator, you just simply plug that back in. So it would be 1/2, or you could put negative 0.5. So when you plug that back, it's going to be negative 0.5. Divide by negative 3, and you should get 1/6. Okay? So the way you can check that is take 0.5, make that negative, divide it by 3, which is negative, equals 0.166666, right? So, is that 1/6? Does that equal to 1/6? Well, let's see. 1 divided by 6 should be the same thing. Yep, same thing. So, they're equal to each other. So, we have the right solution. Okay, all right, next. Next problem is negative 2/3 times m equals negative 12. So this is another one-step equation. So we're going to do the opposite of multiplying by negative 2/3. Okay? So that means we're going to divide both sides by 2/3. So we're going to divide this by 2/3, divide this by 2/3. Negative 2/3, I should say. This is going to cancel out. Right? Becomes 1. This is m. So we have m equals negative 12 divided by negative 2/3. Now, of course, you can't divide fractions, right? So we're going to have to do keep, change, flip on this. So remember, negative 12 is negative 12 over 1. Okay? As a whole number, you set it over top of 1. So we're going to keep this there, like that. Keep, change, change this to multiplication. Then we're going to flip this around. The fancy word for that is reciprocal. So the reciprocal of negative 2/3 is 3 over negative 2. Okay? You can multiply across and solve it, or you can simplify. I'm just going to multiply across. I'm going to get negative 36 on top, negative 2 on the bottom, divide the top by the bottom, get positive 18. Okay? You can simplify if you want to divide both of these by negative 2. You get 1, you get 6. 6 times 2 is 18. 18 over 1, 18. Right? And if you want to check it, you just plug it back in. So negative 2/3 times 18 should equal to negative 12. It does. Okay. All right, the third example I have for you, other one-step equation. We've got 2.4 equals negative t divided by 4.5. Or we could say t divided by negative 4.5. Okay, we can put the negative down here. Doesn't matter which one you put it in, because the answer is still going to be the same. All right, so the only thing that's a little bit weird about this is you have the answer on the left-hand side, and you have the problem or the algebraic expression on the right-hand side. Typically, they're flipped. So if you want to switch it around, if you want to switch it back, you can do that. So you put t over here and 4.5 over 4.5 on the left. I'm putting negative down here. Set that equal to 2.4. That works just fine. Okay? So what is the opposite of dividing by negative 4.5? Well, the opposite of dividing by negative 4.5 is multiplying by negative 4.5. So we're going to multiply both sides by negative 4.5. So multiply this side by negative 4.5, and multiply this side by negative 4.5. Okay, this is going to cancel out. I've got t left over, and then 2.4 times 4.5, and 4.5 is negative. That's going to equal negative 10.8. Okay? And you always check it by plugging it back in. So if we plugged it back in, it'd be negative 10.8 divided by negative 4.5. That should equal 2.4. Right? We're plugging it back in where t is. So negative 10.8 divided by 4.5, which was negative, equals 2.4. So we're good to go. All right, so those are one-step equations. Now let's talk about two-step equations. Two-step equations are simply the same thing. It's just another step, another thing that you have to do. All right, number 4. So y divided by 6 minus 7 equals 4. All right, so we've got two operations taking place right now as we see it. We've got dividing by 6, subtracting 7. That's what's going on right now. So two mathematical operations. So what you have to ask yourself is, okay, how do I get rid of this minus 7? I want to get rid of this minus 7. I want to get rid of this dividing by 6 thing, right? Because the goal, remember, the goal is to isolate the y. You want y all by itself. But you also want to maintain balance. So whatever you do the one side, you have to do the other side. And I've told my students this over and over again. Y divided by 6 minus 7 doesn't look anything like a 4 to me. But even though it doesn't look nothing like a 4, it is still equal to 4. Okay? Much like 2 plus 2 equals 4. Now 2 plus 2 doesn't look like a 4 to me, but the value is 4. So you have to just trust that the equation is correct, that this is equal to 4. Okay? It may not be 4, it may not look like 4, but it is equal to 4. Okay? So again, whatever you do one side, do the other. All right, so we got to get rid of that minus 7. So what's up to the minus 7? Is adding 7. So we're going to add 7 to both sides. We're going to get y divided by 6. This is going to cancel out. This is going to be no more. And then we're going to get 11 on the other side. Then we got to unwrap. That was the first step. Okay? The second step is we have to get rid of that 6, that dividing by 6. So we have to figure out, okay, what's the opposite of dividing by 6? Well, it should be multiplying by 6. So we'll multiply both sides by 6. Then we get this canceled out. This becomes 66. And that's it. And you plug this back in. You can even do it mentally. 66 divided by 6 is 11. 11 minus 7 is 4. So that works out. All right. We've got 2 more examples. Number 5. So we've got g divided by 3 plus 11 equals 25. Okay. Now, you need to get rid of that 11, so we're going to subtract 11 from both sides. This cancels out. This becomes 14. We've got g divided by 3 equals 14. Now we're going to do the opposite of dividing by 3. The opposite of dividing by 3 is multiplying by 3. So we're going to multiply both sides by 3. This cancels out, so g equals 42. And that should be your solution for g. If you want to test it out, plug it back in. So 42 divided by 3, okay, should be 14. 14 plus 11 is 25. All right, last but not least, f divided by 5 minus 22 equals negative 25. So same thing here. We're going to do the opposite of subtracting 22. Let's add 22. This cancels out. This side becomes negative 3 because you can't add a negative and positive together. You have to find the difference. The difference is 3 and it's negative because this has more absolute value. So negative 3. So you got f over 5, or f divided by 5 equals negative 3. Now what's the opposite of dividing by 5? Multiplying by 5, right? So we multiply both sides by 5. This cancels out. We get f left over, and this is negative 15. That's it. And so you can just plug it back in and solve it. So negative 15 divided by 5 is negative 3. Negative 3 minus 22 is negative 25, so it works. All right, hopefully that helps. I know that's only 6 examples, but I don't want this video to get too long. I want you to be able to get some sleep this evening. God bless. Guys, have a great night, and I'll see you later. Bye-bye.